Hi, this is Bob Barnes for Natural Video, and welcome to Birding Costa Rica. After 2 weeks of solid taping, we find ourselves here at Selva Verde Lodge on the Caribbean slope of Costa Rica. We began our journey in very different habitat, just a few miles from the Nicaraguan border in the far north of Costa, at a wonderful hacienda called Los Centos. From there to Santa Rosa National Park, Samaro in the Pacific Ocean, Palo Verde National Park, Monteverde, Lake Arenal, here, and then just a few miles north of Panama on the Caribbean. I hope you enjoyed the tape as much as we enjoyed the journey.
Los Centos provides a full range of services. We began our stay with a trip across the suspension bridge. The range of the Laughing Falcon extends from the east and west coast of northern Mexico southward to northern Argentina. In Costa Rica, it's found on both the Atlantic and Pacific slopes from the sea to about 6,000 feet. It will often sit for long periods like this on the forest edge, watching for snakes, lizards, and rodents. The calls of the Laughing Falcon are wonderful, especially those that sound like human laughter. One morning, while we were birding the grounds of the hacienda, one of the ranch hands came running over to tell us a Laughing Falcon was calling in the pasture. That special effort epitomizes the staff of Los Centos. This job did not require him to do anything with guests, but it was considerate, and like all of the staff, went out of his way to make our stay pleasant. The Laughing Falcon's flight consists of shallow flappings, usually along the forest edge. It does not soar like some other birds of prey. In Costa Rica, the range of the Hoffman's woodpecker is restricted to the northwest. Its range extends northward to southwest Honduras. The similar-looking red-crowned woodpecker is restricted to the southwest slope. The two hybridize where their ranges overlap. It also hybridizes with the golden-fronted woodpecker along the northern edge of its range. The Hoffman's woodpecker prefers open woods where it creeps along trunks pecking for insects. It also eats nectar from large flowers. The range of the white-throated magpie jay is restricted to the northwest in Costa Rica. Otherwise, its range extends northward along the Pacific slope to central Mexico. You can find the turkey vulture at most locations from Canada to the tip of South America. They hunt by soaring overhead and watching for carcasses. Turkey vultures have a highly developed sense of smell and can follow scent to their food, often from high in the sky. Like black vultures, they generally roost in trees near open woodlands and savannas. The black vulture is found from the U.S. to the southern part of South America. We found these birds roosting with turkey vultures, which is not uncommon. Sometimes several hundred black vultures will roost together. When hunting for food, which is usually carrion, they will soar high overhead, watching both the ground and other vultures. It's not commonly known, but they also eat fruit. We watched some soaring vultures and followed them to their early morning feast. Black vultures are quite agile on the ground, hopping about with great dexterity. Their meal was disturbed by a wild dog, probably a cross with a coyote. The turkey vultures watch from the sideline, never getting a chance with all the black vultures. We left the vultures to their feast and headed back to the hacienda to watch birds at the feeders. Flocks of white-throated magpie jays will often mob predators, including people. They have a distinctive flight pattern consisting of several flaps and a glide. On the ground, they hop. It typically travels in noisy flocks of less than 10. It's an omnivore, eating large insects, small creatures, a variety of fruit, and even the nectar of balsa. Some authorities consider this species and the black-throated magpie jay of northwestern Mexico to be the same species, the magpie jay. The two species integrate in the Mexican states of Jalisco and Colima. The white-throated magpie jay is a cooperative breeder, meaning that several related birds will help with nest building, incubation, and the feeding of young birds. The black-throated magpie jay is also thought to be a cooperative breeder. These birds and the great green macaw, which we will see shortly, are not wild birds. Although they freely roam the grounds, they have had their wings clipped. They are, nonetheless, beautiful creatures. The scarlet macaw is found from southern Mexico to Bolivia and eastern Brazil. In Costa Rica, there is a large population at Carrera National Park, which is where I first saw them. Imagine the flash of colors against the skyline as the birds move back and forth in the canopy. They eat fruits and nuts in the canopy and are often found in flocks of 10 to 20. The great green macaw is generally found in the Caribbean lowlands and is seen regularly at Selva Verde. Its range is more restricted than that of the scarlet macaw, being found from eastern Honduras to western Colombia and Ecuador. They feed primarily on the fruit of the Dipterox panamanus and will often fly long distances to find a fruiting tree. They tend to form small flocks like the scarlet macaws. Stills and scutch, in the birds of Costa Rica, still report the nest as undescribed. Anyone birding in the field should be attuned to bird behavior as well as identification. There is still much that we don't know. We saw a number of frog species on this trip. Although many were very colorful, we are often reminded that the more somber tones tend to prevail. One morning, we took a horseback ride through the pastures and streams of the hacienda. It gives you a different perspective and makes stream crossings a lot easier. We set up in a small clearing by a stream to watch huge spiders and mantled howler monkeys. Mantled howler monkeys are found from southeastern Mexico southward through Central America to northern Peru on the west coast of South America. They eat fruits and leaves, which they find in the upper canopy. They tend to be more slow-moving than the Central American spider monkey, which is also found in this area. They have small ranges, so they are able to cope with deforestation better than some other species. Deforestation has been so extensive in some areas, however, that the howlers have become threatened. The yellow-naped parrot is found from southern Mexico to Costa Rica. It's the only large parrot species in this area. They eat fruits and seeds. Despite what you see here, Stiles and Stutch report that it's generally quiet except when flying. Remember, individual birds do not always act like the species model. The yellow-naped parrot is one of the species which has suffered extensively from the cage bird trade. The keel-billed toucan is found from southern Mexico to northern Colombia and Venezuela. It's also known as the rainbow-billed toucan. It tends to stay in the upper canopy, although we saw a number of these birds on the ground. It's an omnivore, eating seeds, fruits, lizards, snakes, and insects, including scorpions, as you will see in a moment. One afternoon, my son and I were resting. I was swinging back and forth in the hammock when the keel-billed toucan started hopping along the rafters toward me. My son said, "It's got a scorpion." We were both out of there in no time at all. The keel-billed toucan tosses its head backward when eating so that the food at the tip of its bill can make it to the throat. Note the hollow section underneath the bill, which helps to diminish its weight. In the pasture nearby, we found a number of great-tailed grackles. They are found from southwestern U.S. through to northwestern Venezuela and Peru. It's an omnivore, and its diet is varied. Probably because of increased farming and ranching, its range has spread eastward from the Pacific coast. The common ground dove is found from the southern U.S. to eastern Brazil and Ecuador. It's also found in several islands in the West Indies. This is typical feeding behavior for this species. The common ground dove prefers bare open areas where it searches for insects, berries, and seeds. In some sources, the common ground dove is referred to as the scaly-breasted ground dove. The Inca dove is another common dove of this area. You're as likely to find it on the wires as on the ground. From Costa Rica, its range extends northward to the southwestern U.S. Like the common ground dove, it prefers open areas with bare ground. It is primarily a seed eater. The Inca dove was first recorded in Costa Rica in 1928. Since that time, its range has extended southward to Quepos. As we wandered the grounds, we found a number of striking species, including the collared aracari. This species has a range which extends from western Ecuador in the south to southern Mexico in the north. The collared araucari is generally found in the middle to upper levels of fairly open forest. When perched, it typically hops along branches. It is an omnivore, although it seems to prefer fruit. Several of these birds came to the feeders at the hacienda. It was here that my son began his investigation of ants. Wherever we went, I could find him patiently watching a column of ants. Everything from ants associated with acacia trees to long columns of army ants. As we neared the end of the trip, he noted that he had been bit by at least 4 species of ants, and that the bite of the army ant felt like it dissolved his bone. Later at La Selva, we found bullet ants, which are about an inch long. They are solitary hunters and nest in relatively small colonies. Their bite is said to be excruciating, with severe pain lasting for several days. I had long believed that the symbiotic relationship between acacia trees and ants was unique. After all, it's the only one that was mentioned on the nature shows. In Costa Rica, we found 3 other examples of similar ant-plant relationships. The first sulfur-bellied flycatcher I ever saw was in Madera Canyon in Arizona, the northern limit of its range. It's found as far south as Peru and Bolivia. They're usually found high in trees in fairly open, dry areas. They hawk for insects and occasionally eat berries. The sulfur-bellied flycatcher is distinguished from the similar street flycatcher by a much broader and darker malar strip. The orange-fronted parakeet is a noisy, gregarious bird found from western Mexico to Costa Rica. During breeding season, they will sometimes gather in flocks of 100 or more. They prefer savannas and open forest edges where they find fruit, seeds, and flowers. This is another species which has suffered extensively from the caged bird trade. Wasps and hornets were common throughout the area. They swarmed at the feeders and had nests spread about in myriad locations. Bugs were also common, some so well camouflaged that it was almost impossible to locate them unless they moved. Along the edge of a pasture we found a number of blue-gray tanagers and some pine trees. It's a species found from central Mexico to Amazonia. Whenever I see a blue-gray tanager I am humbled, remembering a time in eastern Ecuador when I had the devil of a time identifying this species. The color variation and size of the subspecies there simply threw me for a loop. The blue-gray tanager is an omnivore, eating insects, spiders, and a variety of seeds and berries. The white-winged dove is found from northern Chile to the southwestern U.S. It prefers open, arid areas where it's often seen on the ground searching for seeds. The thick-billed seedfinch is a small bird with a stout bill, somewhat similar to the variable seed eater. As you see here, it prefers grass seeds, although it's known to eat berries and insects as well. It's found from southeastern Mexico south to western Ecuador. It's known to hybridize with the chestnut-bellied seedfinch. The blue-black grassquit is found as far south as northern Chile and Argentina, and as far north as northwestern Mexico. Montezuma oroapindala is one of my favorite birds, and it epitomizes the tropics to me. It's found from southern Mexico to central Panama. Whenever I see their long dangling nest, I know that I'm in the Central American tropics. Although they prefer to nest in large open trees, they will often forage in the upper canopy of the forest. It's an omnivore, eating a wide range of plant and animal matter. The area around the hacienda was alive with flowers, all sizes, shapes, and colors. The palm tanagers are not as common as the blue-gray tanagers at this location. Their range extends from Honduras south to Bolivia and Brazil. They are generally found in open areas, and at least in Costa Rica, they aren't found in mixed flocks. Palm tanagers eat fruit, spiders, and insects. The red-lored parrot is more common along the Caribbean slope in Costa Rica. Otherwise, its range extends from Mexico southward to Ecuador and Brazil. Their diet consists of fruits and seeds. This is another species endangered by the cage bird trade. The orange-chinned parakeet is sometimes called the brown-shouldered parakeet, a name which is more descriptive. It's found from southern Mexico to northern Venezuela and Colombia. The orange-chinned parakeet eats both fruit and seeds, and as you can hear here, is pretty noisy. It's common to abundant in this area. The yellow-throated euphonia is uncommon here, but more common elsewhere in Costa Rica. Its range extends from northeastern Mexico to Panama. We had great weather at the hacienda, but one afternoon it poured for an hour or so. Luckily, we had just come in from the field. The rain meant wet leaves and occasional mud puddles, places to find still more species of frogs. The spot-bellied bobwhite is a secretive bird with a limited range, being found from Guatemala south to Costa Rica. Its diet consists of fruit, seeds, and insects. The white-ringed flycatcher looks similar to the social flycatcher, which is also found in this area. It's found from Honduras to northern South America. It eats a variety of insects and spiders. Note the behavior which is going on here. The great kiskadee has an extensive range from southern Texas to Argentina. It prefers open areas and is often found near human habitation. The great kiskadee is an omnivore, eating a wide variety of small creatures and plant material. The eastern meadowlark is another bird with an extensive range. North Americans know it from as far north as southeastern Canada, and Brazilians know it from the Amazon region. It's a bird of open fields, where it hunts for insects, fruit, and small invertebrates. It typically walks along the ground or through the grass looking for its next meal. The cattle egret is seen in open fields, where it's often found walking beside livestock. The livestock flush the insects which are the primary foodstuff of cattle egrets. It's a cosmopolitan species found in many areas of the world. This bird is in breeding plumage. These fields were also great for butterflies. Costa Rica is as well known for these creatures as it is for birds. The grounds at Los Centos were alive with numerous beautiful species.